lovers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing A24's latest flick, Talk to Me. This suspense horror entry promises to be the scariest movie of the year, but does it live up to the hype? And stay tuned for the LGBT-centric Queer Corner, where I rate the movie on an LGBTQ queer scale. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So, Talk to Me is about a group of friends who discover that there's an embalmed hand that can kind of give them a thrill that they haven't really experienced before, and they decide that it would be cool to record this thrill. It's all fun and games until they discover that one of them may have unleashed a supernatural force and there may be no coming back from there. Set in the suburbs of Australia, Talk to Me follows Mia as she decides whether or not her skepticism about this hand stands up to the scrutiny. The film explores themes such as loss, PTSD, and trust. Let's talk about some of the performances in the film. Sophie Wilde shines as Mia. As soon as she's on screen, she's magnetic, bringing a fun yet tortured performance to the role. The bond between her and Riley, played out by up-and-comer Joe Bird, really sets glue in the seat for most of the film, as you're instantly invested in their bond and their relationship. The acting is overall solid in the film, but there is a Lord of the Rings cameo in the movie, an actress from Lord of the Rings actually. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, and why are you in this movie? But it was still awesome to see her there. And if you'd like to know who it is, let me know down below. If not, Google it. Works for me. Now, the directors, Daniel and Michael Philippou, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, masterfully bring a dreadful vibe to Talk to Me. And the cinematography is great, as slowly building up scenes where you think something's going to happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You kind of get that the scenes are a little telegraphed, so you know when to kind of like look away. But if you're a horror fan, there's no need to look away. There's plenty of scares here, just not too many jump scares. The movie's definitely more of a shock gore film than I expected. I hadn't even seen the trailer because I wanted to go in blind, and I wasn't really disappointed by what I got. Now, the story is definitely carried by the performances. This is definitely not a groundbreaking film by any means. It's very similar to the movie Smile that came out, I believe it was last year, if not this year. I kind of felt myself thinking about that movie as I was watching this one, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there were a lot of similarities to the point where I was like, okay, I've kind of seen this before. But again, it's not a bad movie. While the film does stop to let itself breathe, it still goes at a brisk pace to the point where you're not bored and you're continually invested and want to know what's going to happen next. Like I said, even if it is a little bit telegraphed. Talk to Me is a good movie that doesn't necessarily reach the levels of great, but is good enough to give me nightmares. I mean, to be honest, last night I had a nightmare related to the movie and I'm a little tired right now because of it, but if a movie gives you nightmares, there's plenty there to linger in your mind. And now my special segment for movie reviews called The Queer Corner. I am a queer creator, and so I kind of want to let everybody know if a movie has LGBTQ inclusion, which is very important to me. The film does include a trans non-binary actor in one of the roles, yet their sexuality and gender are not really defined, which I personally prefer sometimes. Just let the character shine in the role. But in this case, it made sense, and the character stood on their own feet and didn't need to be defined by their gender or sexuality. So I really like that. Another character, Daniel, who's kind of a Christian in the movie, there were some gay undertones to his character that I interpreted that way. Maybe not everybody will, but there were a couple lines in the movie where I was like, okay. The LGBTQ representation is there. It's just not in the main character, but at least we're being represented in the movie, and not in a negative way. Talk to Me is a must-watch for horror fans, and to stream it for any casual horror fans and LGBTQ content fans. The performances, the direction, and themes come together to create a decent entry into the suspense horror genre. Thanks for joining me in this review. If you've already seen Talk to Me, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check me out next week when I review Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Thanks so much, and see you next time.